Rocket League is one of the most dynamic games that you can play, and this is because there are so many factors that go into even just a single play. When you watch a play like 1,000 times and you think you have it all figured out, then you watch it one more time and somehow you see that, you were slightly wrong or there's something slightly different that you could have done to pull it off. All of the different situations that you come across in Rocket League can lead to people creating these sort of rules for themselves or placing themselves in certain mindsets. People often also hear like a high-level player in some sort of fit of rage going on about how you should always do something or you should never do something, but really it's not that simple. And if it was, then this game wouldn't be so freaking hard. You could just do the same things over and over again. So today I'm going to bring you 5 Rocket League myths. Some of these are just completely untrue, and some of them have been misconstrued throughout the community. So let's jump right in. All right, number 1, and I'm sure many of you have heard pros or even other content creators go on and on about this, but people say that you should always rotate far post or back post. Now, this one isn't necessarily wrong. I think this is a good thing to teach newer players, just to be consistent. The vast majority of the time, you should be rotating far post. More often than not, it is a much better option, and you don't want to catch yourself rotating on the wrong side right at your teammates, or even into the wrong side of the net, confusing your teammates, or just leaving yourself out of position entirely. But sometimes, that's exactly what you need. You need to not rotate far post sometimes. And if you actually talk with a professional player, not just listen, when they're screaming at their ranked teammate for rotating the wrong way, they will tell you the same thing. And if you watch RLCS, you'll see that people rotate not far post. I guess you just call it near post. They do this all the time. Once you get to a high level in Rocket League, positioning in and of itself sort of changes. The plays are miles faster than they are at the lower ranks, or even compared to like normal Grand Champ play. It becomes less about the specific way that you're rotating, and it becomes more about filling a position. So in high level lobbies, there are spots on the field or pieces of the play that need to be filled in, and if you can fill that in, or you're the one who's supposed to fill that in without rotating far post, then you should. It becomes more about getting into a position that needs to be filled as fast as you can. So naturally, sometimes going back post is just going to slow you down and slow your team's rotations down. And I'm sure you guys have seen some of these high-level lobbies or watched RLCS, and really the last thing you want to do is be slow in those lobbies. Like I said, I'm not saying that you shouldn't rotate far post most of the time. You should definitely get yourself into the habit of doing so, because more often than not, it is the best course of action that you can take. But to just simply say that this is the only choice you have, or that there are never times where other options could be better, that's just not right. So pull up some pro streams or even some RLCS matches and watch closely. You'll see that there are times where they don't rotate back post, and even sometimes where if they had, it would most likely have cost them possession or even to concede a goal. All right, number 2, and this one's kind of tricky, and it's really the idea that game sense is more important than mechanics. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that your game sense isn't important. It definitely is. In fact, it's paramount. But don't let someone tell you that your mechanics aren't just as necessary to being a good player. They are super important. It seems that this word tends to get twisted. Mechanics. When you think of someone that has good mechanics, who do you think of? Probably a player like Astral or Justin or Gimmick. You think of somebody that has flashy mechanics, someone that's going for highly mechanical plays often. And that's really not all there is to it. Like people who like to make jokes and say that Turbo has bad mechanics even though he's a 4-time world champion, that's not true. His mechanics are insane. If you don't think people like Fairy Peak have some of the absolute best mechanics in the world, just because he isn't going for flip resets all the time, you're crazy. You don't have to have flashy mechanics to have good mechanics. How fast you recover, how good your shots are, how good you are at wrapping around the ball to get the pass to your teammate, how well you can bang that clear off the backboard right where you want it, or even down to things like 50-50s and challenges. All of these things are mechanics, and all of Rocket League is mechanics. When you hear high-level players telling you that mechanics don't matter, it's not the point they're trying to make is wrong, but they don't elaborate on it often, and everyone tries to take it at face value. What they mean is that you don't have to hit double flip resets like I've been trying to do recently. In order to be a good player, you're not going to rank up because now you feel you've perfected ceiling shots, but you're using mechanics every single second of every match. How you move your car is your mechanical ability, and it's something that you can work on directly. It's really not much to go into free play and work on whatever it is that you're bad at. So don't ever let somebody tell you that your mechanics don't matter, because mechanics are the way that you outplay people, and outplaying people is what you have to do most of the time. So yeah, go into free play and work on your mechanics. All right, number 3 is that your car choice doesn't matter, or that all the Rocket League cars are the same. Yes, I know that the hitboxes have been standardized, but what car you choose still matters. When you use a car, they all have different models, so while the hitboxes may be the same, you will read the hitbox in correlation to the car model differently. There will be cars that you feel are easier to play with, and cars that you feel like are impossible to play with. So does this mean that you can't be a top tier player in the Scarab? Of course not. Like, people like Flakes have already showed that you can do that, but if he says that he is as comfortable in the Scarab as he is in the Octane, I don't know, I would struggle to believe that. You have to learn a car, where you have to hit the ball on that model in order to get whatever touch it is that you're going for. You have to be used to the car that you're using. And some cars just don't feel good for some people, often because they just don't like the way that the car looks, and that really does affect you. It can even go a step further than that, honestly. Like, different cars will make you change your play style. Whenever I'm on the Octane, I try to be more precise with my touches. Whenever I'm on the Dominus, I just start trying to freestyle and doing stupid stuff. That's just what those cars lead me to do. It's like what I want to do in them naturally. They may call this a placebo. That could be very well true, but the thing about placebos is that they work. If they didn't work, it wouldn't be a placebo. Of course, all the boxes are the same, but they will still affect you differently. All right, number 4 is that passing is way better than solo plays. Obviously in Rocket League, passing is very important, but being able to create solo plays out of nothing is also an amazing thing to be able to have in Rocket League. When you look at the players who people would say are the best in the world, people like Justin, Atomic, and Astral, their ability to create something from nothing is unrivaled, and this is at the highest level. So whenever you're in a specific rank, these skills will be even more important. You aren't going to probably be going up against a brick wall defense like RLCS teams have in, say, Diamond 3. So if you have some mechanical skills that make you able to pull off solo plays, you'll be able to score so easily. And I'm already sure most of you know, it's not like your teammate is always going to be positioned for a pass perfectly. In fact, a lot of the times they won't be. It's a skill to be able to receive and position yourself for passes, and it's rare to see this at mid to lower ranks. I'm not saying you should completely neglect your teammate. If he's there and he's ready for a pass and there's space, it is what you should do. But being able to create your own opportunities is so important in Rocket League, especially if you're say champ or lower. That will really help you take it to the next level. And again, it's something that you can improve directly. The only way to work on passing is to pass in games, but you can go into free play right now or custom training and work on things like dribbling or air dribbling and learn how to beat defenders on your own, regardless of what XX Vape Lord XX is doing 2 miles behind you. All right, that brings us to the last one, which is number 5. And this one is actually a pet peeve of mine. Saying that only some people will be able to master or achieve certain skills in Rocket League, or you saying, I'll just never be good enough to do that. I could never hit that shot. That is, in my opinion, such a cop-out. If you really wanted to be able to do something, you can practice it in Rocket League, and you can get to where you're doing what you want to do. Now, will it be easy? No. Do you really think that people like Gainer opened the game for the first time and were able to just flip reset for 5 minutes straight? That's just not the way it is. They practice and they practice and they practice. They grind it every day for hours on end. So if there's a skill that you want to be able to do bad enough, you can do it. Now, most of us don't really care about being able to do 15 flip resets, but if you feel like you can't wave dash, you can. Just practice it for 3 or 4 days, quit worrying about playing ranked, and you'll master it. You'll probably master it in a couple days. If you really want to learn something, you can do it in Rocket League. So don't fall into this thought of, I can't do that no matter how much I practice. Alright guys, there are 5 Rocket League myths that are either flat out wrong or just sort of misinterpreted. I'm not saying in this video that other people are wrong and that I'm right. Not that at all. What I'm saying is that there's so many factors that go into Rocket League and into being a good player and improving. There's just so much more than meets the eye. So don't just take everything at face value, and if something is absolute in Rocket League, it's probably not true. So if you guys have anything that you'd like to say about this or thoughts on this, or maybe there's some myths that I didn't mention in this video that you see a lot, leave them down below in the comments. I'd love to see them. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.